Hi, welcome to the Earth Connection, and my name is Ruben. Today we're going to be discussing the inner child, and hopefully by the end of the video you'll understand how understanding your inner child can help create a better situation today. When we were younger, life seemed full of possibilities uh, and full of wonder and uh, and curiosity, and um, it was a different time back then for sure. Many of us know that, understand that, and again, generations before that, a different time before that. Each generation, as we move forward, tries to, we try to improve upon the previous one, or at least learn the lessons from the previous generation and take it forward. um, the momentum with each generation, as far as um, the increase of awareness, keeps growing within each generation. And what do I mean by that? With some of the previous generations when we were younger, you know, a lot of the old structures were designed to make the cog function, the make the system function as a whole, right? Continue to make it function, and so there's a lot of things that were geared towards that direction, but it didn't sit well, obviously, with people, and you learn to grow and learn from the lessons as we move forward. In today's society, we have, through psychology and advancement in science, we really are starting to understand, as far as, like, the human psychology and how, how past events really shape um, the way you operate now. But more so, past belief systems that you adopt for yourself is what really affects us. When you're at home and you know you're a child, and someone else calls you ugly, and that's not necessarily true, and things like that, and it might twinge you a certain way, right? And then you end up taking that belief for yourself, or um in more severe cases, being attacked, by other kids or even by family. Um, and, your whole structure and world and viewpoint starts to shift as you start reaching for what could possibly be wrong with you for these situations to occur. And the answer is nothing. And a lot of us understand that today. But it needs to be felt on a deeper level. A lot of times for myself, when I go back, I relive those moments that I may have adopted a belief system that wasn't mine. And you go back to that moment where someone said something that is absolutely untrue of you, or if someone labeled you as something, or if you ever thought you were unworthy. When you see kids playing with each other, young ones, innocent young ones, where They haven't been really tainted by that. You see, they don't care about, they don't see color or any of that. They just have fun in the moment. And even if the situations, and we've seen the videos where they point out the differences, it's not even out of disgust or fear. It's more out of curiosity. And then they end up playing. And to further drive home that point of how many cases have we seen that are growing where people who have been down and out of their luck and trying to survive in today's economy and do something foolish and try to rob someone or do something and they've gotten talking down because they were talked to like a person. And that might not work for every situation. And, being retired military and I've been deployed and all that stuff. So I'm speaking as someone who have very much been steeped in this, experienced, grew up in the city, all kinds of situations. But we have several actors, comedians, and all kinds of people that grew up in terrible background and situations that transmuted their past and situation and is now moving forward, perpetuating more light, being better examples, actually some of the best examples because they knew what it was like to grow up in those hard situations. We're at an age where we're starting to understand each other, starting to heal, not just as individuals, but as a society. I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Taino, and there's this whole, movement recognition of that and this thirst for recognizing, the diverse culture that helped um, that we created while sharing these lands. It's not about passing blame, but taking responsibility and moving forward. Because how can we move forward if we don't accept responsibility for where we're at now, and then create new and better systems moving forward? Systems that actually work for the betterment of not the United States, not Canada, not UK, not Europe, not China, not Africa, but as humanity on a global scale. It doesn't have to be instant or right away, but it's necessary. This is the stage that I feel that humanity is at a psychological level, at a sociological level, at where it is well within our power and ability to really empathize with one another. When you talk to each other, talk to the inner child of each other. If the other person is upset, it is because there is a real fear there of a lack of perception of love. Anytime that someone's really defensive or, wanting to, um, let's just go ahead and say, like, let's say the political views of left or right, which obviously it's designed left or right, like it's designed to create that conflict. But in truth, we all want the same things. Oh, one side has this ideal, the other side has this ideal, but they see that as all the same for them. Affects us differently, yes, depending on which policies we choose, you know, but all of us see both sides benefits, and that's how they do it. They chop up the benefits on either side, so nobody's happy. Who's happy are the ones that are vacationing right now and comfortable, while the rest of us are having to worry about surviving within the system that is currently in place. They have us sweat it out for a while and stuff like that, and while they argue and bicker amongst themselves, and this is one of those situations where we have to learn how to look out for one another, look out for each other. It's happening. I see it. I see it happening. And I know you do too. We got to speak up about it. We got to let them know that we cannot continue operating this way. They obviously do not have the best interest of the people. So it's up to us. The old systems are not designed for us to really work together and collaborate and things like that. We have created systems like through GoFundMe and through, social media and different types of apps and programs and stuff like that. And it's not just us. There are people with money also, and people within the government also that might even agree on changing the system. They're just waiting for us to do something about it. They can't, not behind closed, those doors, they can't do anything. But as soon as we start speaking as a collective, yes, you will hear them answer. You will hear them respond. And then we can start talking about it and moving forward, not in a violent way. Again, that will bring more of the same thing. How many movies have there been where, we see what the issues are and there's this thirst for change? They come together and actually create change. I know we can do this. It's not about dissolution, it's about evolution, it's about growth, it's about coming together, it's about seeing each other so that you can be free to live your life, be free to explore, be free to tune into your frequency and follow your path. Following our passion is what we're designed to do. More people are getting displaced out of work or feeling the call to leave because they don't feel satisfied within themselves, or the workplace doesn't, appreciate them, and so on and so forth. And by all means, if everything's good where you're at, then yeah, you found your calling, and go ahead and do that to your best of your ability and drive it forward, perpetuate that forward. But there is a growing awakening around the world where people are starting to really pursue what they want to do. The technology is getting to the point where we can start doing that. But the system isn't designed to really allow it in a smooth way. You really have to, follow your passion and go forward. And it's a really self-motivated, self-driven thing. But the thing is that the idea is to create new systems and new structures that allows for the next generation to be able to move forward in a much more efficient way, a much more cohesive way, a way that we can build our future together responsibly. And it starts with us examining ourselves and really looking at the belief systems we adopted as kids. Not to pass blame, but to come at it with new understanding and healing. Continue to shine, continue to grow. I love you all. Be blessed.